Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Dafeet. In this episode we're going to look at GC50, 2x25k relay, pre-race, race and post-race thoughts. So in this video, it's the first one of these, so I'll see how it goes. Probably do quite a few more of these, especially just weekly recaps leading to the GC marathon, so the Gold Coast Marathon next year in July, building into that sub 3. But we'll just talk about pre-race thoughts, how the nutrition and everything led up throughout the week during to the race, how I felt in the race, and just post-race in this video. So leading up during the week, I knew I was quite dehydrated, well not dehydrated, but wasn't hydrated come kind of Tuesday. So after Wednesday, I had a few days off leading up to the event, so just got hydrated, a lot of electrolytes in the body. Come Saturday, so race event was on Sunday, I just tried to get quite a lot of carbs in the muscles, so I had a lot of energy to keep sustained throughout the 25Ks. The thing that I didn't do was have a good kind of substantial meal on Saturday, so usually I have a steak or mashed potato or pasta, just something that's quite filling and keeps the stomach quite full. Basically had bacon and egg sandwich, a bit of sushi and whatnot, but no kind of main meal at dinner. Yeah, it was just quite unusual. Then come Sunday morning, stomach had, like, my body was definitely had a lot of carbs through it, but my stomach felt quite empty, which isn't too bad. You kind of, it's personal preference how full your stomach wants to be, but it just didn't feel like it had anything to absorb through the race. Plus it was just a bit uneasy trying to keep the liquids where they should be in the body. Leading up to GC50 2x25k relay, my training was probably, I was very undertrained leading into the race compared to other races that I've done. Probably doing like 25k's a week running, which is stupidity more than anything leading up to a 25k event that's just hot. But we'll get into the heat coming in as a factor as well. But yeah, I was trying to put out about 50k's a week, 60k's a week leading into it, but then just excuses came in the way of not doing morning runs, afternoon runs. Did probably bust out a few 20k's leading up, but they were probably a bit too far out from the event to actually make any difference to the endurance in the legs. Sunday was a learning curve coming into the GC marathon build next year. A few key things that I've taken away is just your nutrition coming into the race, how to not be undertrained leading into an event, then just climatise, especially with how hot the GC50 was. I'll bring up the average temperature, but yeah, very hot, humid, losing a lot of electrolytes as well as hydration over the course of the event. So we'll get into the race. On the morning, didn't actually feel too bad, just stock standard race nerves. Done 25k's quite a lot in the past. The endurance and speed weren't there for what I wanted to do. Ended up doing a minute slower per kilometre than what I wanted to do, so I was looking around that kind of 4:20 pace per kilometre, which wasn't feeling too bad in the first kind of 6 to 8k's, keeping kind of that average pace there where it should be, but the heart rate, being how hot and humid it was just skyrocketing. So I'll start breaking down the race. So I ended up doing 25k's in 2 hours 12, goal time was about 1:48, 1:50, so quite a bit, basically a park run time, slower than what I wanted to do. Pace was 5:17 per kilometre, wanted to hit that kind of 4:20 pace, so ended up just blowing out around that 13k mark. So average pace ended up being 5:17, as I said, probably around that 8k mark. Felt quite smooth, but the heart rate just didn't lower at all. Just couldn't keep that consistent heart rate around that 175, which is kind of my comfortable race pace, kind of comfortably uncomfortable. Average pace and average speed just ended up lowering after that 13k's. So average heart rate looking at 189, so I was hurting, even just walking, my heart rate was just skyrocketing. The average cadence that ended up lowering because I ended up walking most of the back half of the course, or probably 30% of the back half of the course. Just had quite a bit of a niggle in the left knee and just didn't want to bust that out since I haven't had many injuries, but I was just trying to maintain consistent running throughout that back half just to get over the finish line without having an injury come the next week. GC50 super flat course, is only kind of one incline that goes for about 15 seconds, but you're only looking at 54 meters gained over the whole 25k's. So the average temperature, they started off at 27 degrees, which I think is about 85 Fahrenheit. Then it ended up average temperature being that 32 degrees Celsius, which is about 90 Fahrenheit. So it is quite a hot race, especially on that 8th of December. That's basically our first week of summer, and our spring's still hot, and the humidity I would have said would be around that kind of 70-80%. So it is a very hot, challenging race. And starting out at that 27 degrees Celsius, you start sweating before you even start running. We'll get into the laps. So I went out pretty confident, looking at that kind of 4-minute Ks. I didn't think I was putting out that effort, but yeah, on the speed it definitely said that. Then onto that 3rd K, tried to settle into that race speed, get everything ticking. Was using a new watch, so just dialing that in as well. Plus the heart rate ended up just skyrocketing after that kind of 5th kilometre. Just kept hovering around that 190. Tried to drop back down in a bit of pace, but that ended up doing nothing. So that kilometre 3 dialed into the race pace. Wanted to hold that 420 since it's kind of that comfortable speed for me. That 4th K, just tried to slow the heart rate down a bit. Ended up didn't slowing down, so I got back into the actual pace for the 5th and 6th K. So you're looking at 422, 420 for the 6K. Come 7th K, there was a bit of an aid station, and I was starting to sweat quite a lot, so I just wanted to keep the electrolytes up. So I ended up walking through that aid station, getting quite a bit of electrolytes in. Then kilometre 8, 9, kilometre 8, that 425 pace, so getting back into that race pace after taking on nutrition. Kilometre 9, I started feeling the heat, so it just body started fatiguing quite a bit. So ended up having, I think there was another aid station around that kilometre 9. So yeah, dropped back down to 445s. Then ended up walking quite a bit after that aid station, so back down to that 522s. Started picking up the pace again in the 11, 12. But yeah, then after that just kind of dropped off, especially around that 16th K mark. You're looking at 7:30, the body just basically was depleted. Just basically the heat got to me at the end of the day, plus just not having the time put into the legs when it came to training. It was stupidity trying to do that, trying to do 25 Ks with what training I had when it came to endurance. Yeah, after that ended up just trying to, it was basically survival mode from 16 Ks onwards, trying to run when I could, trying to not end up making my knee any worse than what it was. Basically just getting over the finish line. I think we ended up coming, I think 16th out of 60th, or 16th out of 60 relays team, so it wasn't too bad. We were definitely hoping for that top 5, even if both of us had our goal times met. I think we probably only would have been probably 6th. Team name was Master and Apprentice. Brennan was the bloke running first off, so he did the first 25 Ks and I did the back half. Total time ended up being 4:01:49. I think kind of goal time we both wanted to do around that. Brennan wanted to run about 1:44. I wanted to do kind of your 1:48, 1:50. Quite a bit off our goal time. Ended up coming, that 16th out of 55. So there was quite a decent number of fit people out on the course. Gold Coast has a lot of runners, quite a few that are kind of semi-elite or just good rec runners. So leading into next year's running event, so I'll probably end up doing a Brisbane half marathon, I think, which is in May. Then that'll lead into the Gold Coast full. So I'm gonna do that sub 90 half marathon. Probably look at that kind of your 125 or thereabouts. Just get the speed in the legs and they'll build into your GC half marathon, but took a lot away from another race again. Best training is race day, I always come to believe, but you want to be fit enough so you can actually get quite a bit out of it, but especially pre-race nutrition, having a lot of things in the stomach that have worked for me in the past, just get them in there and make them work again. Just feeling like I have something substantial in my stomach. Then it comes just down to not being undertrained once again. Just getting those time in the legs, the speed workouts, as well as the endurance runs and your recovery runs. So that's something I'll definitely bring into next year. So February we'll probably start the build up to sub 3 is definitely on the cards. I think my fastest time for a half is 1:26. My muscles are a bit more built for endurance now after doing quite a few more endurance events from that time. Things I've taken away is just not being undertrained and having a half decent nutrition plan leading up as well as on race day. If you want me to touch on any more things about post-race, race or pre-race in the coming episodes, let me know in the comments. I'll be doing, leading up to the GC marathon, I'll be doing weekly recaps of my training. So they'll probably drop on Sundays most of the weeks. Keeps me accountable for what training I'm doing and keeps you guys informed of how the training is going. If you liked what we've done on the episode, hit that like button. If you want to keep updated with what's to come, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you in another video. Bye.